week, and some controversial comments sure to reignite the impassioned debate over working women, really working parents. This time it's coming from one of the most powerful women in business. Her name is Indra Nooyi, and she is the CEO of PepsiCo. This week, in an unusually frank interview, she tackled that hot-button question, can women have it all? Listen.
I don't think women can have it all. I just don't think so. We pretend we have it all. Every day you have to make a decision on whether you are going to be a wife or a mother. But if you ask our daughters, I'm not sure they will say that I've been a good mom.
That's stark, all right? And we realize we're opening up or reopening a can of worms here. Recently, we found ourselves in the middle of this debate. I sat down last week with another top CEO, GM's Mary Barra. And I got an awful lot of criticism for one question in particular. Listen. You're a mom, I mentioned, two kids. You said in an interview not long ago that your kids said they're going to hold you accountable for one job, and that is being a mom.
Correct.
Given the pressures of this job at General Motors, can you do both well?
You know, I think I can. I have a great team. We're on the right path. We're doing the right things. We're taking accountability, and also I have a wonderful family, a supportive husband, and I'm pretty proud of my kids the way they're supporting me in this.
I got a lot of criticism. I say, I've always felt this is not a gender issue. Right. This is a human issue of work and life balance. It's a parenting issue for men and women, moms and fathers. Question I ask myself every single day, but clearly it still touches a nerve.
Absolutely.
And let's hear more about what Indra Nooyi has to say from PepsiCo.
Class coffee with mothers for a working woman, how is it going to work? How am I going to take off 9 o'clock on Wednesday mornings to go for a class coffee? So I miss most class coffees. My daughter would come home and she'd say, list of all the mothers that were there, and you were not their mom. First few times I would die with guilt. But I developed coping mechanisms. I called the school and I said, give me a list of mothers who were not there. So when she came home in the evening, she'd say, you were not there, you were not there. I said, Mrs. Rag wasn't there, you know, Mrs. So-and-so wasn't there. So I'm not the only bad mother.
I like that strategy, coping mechanism.
How about this? Let's bring in a couple of working moms who've dealt with these issues firsthand, Martha Stewart and Kathy Lee.
Hello.
Ladies, good morning.
Hello.
What do you think?
I think Indra is very, very right about you can't have it all. You can try, and I think you really need to have that backup team at home. If you're on a CEO path, or you are a CEO, you have to have that backup team that really knows how you want your children taken care of. You can't say that about the husband. They can't really take care of your husband the way you should be taking care of your husband. But you have to come to
Don't judge, okay?
Kathy Lee?
I think women can have it all. I really do. I feel like I was thinking about this in the car on the way here today, how grateful I am for everything in my life. I don't think you can have it all at the same time, but you can definitely learn to balance things. And I was grateful to have a job, though, that I could, after I had my children, take my children to work with me, and that was a great blessing. But I then later chose to leave when my children needed me more. You have to decide what kind of joy you want in your life. You want trophies on your walls, or you want your children to grow?
Is it a sign of the times? I grew up in the 80s where my mom reminded us that she gave up a career in radio and doing what she was doing to raise us, and it was black and white. Now it seems to be something where maybe you can do it all.
I think in each family it has to be a negotiation. In our home, my wife and I both work, and there has to be a shared responsibility. I'm going to come home from filling in on the Today Show. I'm going to feel great. I'm going to get home. I promise my wife's going to say, it's your turn to take care of our daughter for a little while.
And if you prepare your children and tell them exactly what you're doing, they will respect you and they will help you get on with your career. I really think so.
But Indra Nooyi says that if you ask her daughters whether she was a good mom or not, they would say she wasn't. She also talks about was not.
I bet they would.
That's what she believes. That's what she believes. But she also makes the point that the career clock and the biological clock are counter forces, and women have to figure out, to what Kathy Lee was saying, what's important, what you feel is your priority.
Based on all the comments, and this may seem very self-serving, is it a taboo subject?
No, why in the world would it be a taboo subject?
And you should.
I'm surprised at the reaction you got, man.
It's because the male CEOs don't get the question.
But you know what? If a male CEO were to come out and say, I'm very upset I missed my son's prom, and I think my kids are going to hold me accountable for one job, and that is a father, yes, we'd ask that male CEO that question.
Kathy Lee, why are you surprised about the backlash from that question to Mary Barra?
First of all, it was something she had already said, so
Yeah.
Matt was asking her about it.
It was a follow-up question, actually.
Yeah, and you said it very, very respectfully. I think people, certain people are just very, very sensitive about it for their own reasons. You'd have to ask them why.
Which is what Matt
But it was a very
saying,
respectful
Because
question.
I'll point out, it was Matt's son's 13th birthday, and he, as a working father, was there at the
I'm
time
sitting
missing his kid's
interviewing Mary
birthday.
Barra, missing my son's
Yeah.
13th birthday. So it's just something that you go across the street to the people who work on the
Yeah.
Today Show, all the working moms over
Yes.
there and working dads. We talk about this all the time and have for years of how we try to strike this balance.
We don't ask men that question. It's always taboo when you ask women the question. But if you actually ask the kids, I'm sure they would feel the same way. Like, yeah, my dad wasn't there, or my mom wasn't there.
It depends on where they are in their life at
But
the
there's
time.
a lot to learn in this. I mean, Dylan and I both don't have children. She's married, and I hear you guys talk about being a working parent. It's intimidating, but it's exciting, and you learn. And if we're afraid to have the conversation because we're going to guilt each other, how can we ever have a valid, reasonable exchange of information?
Also, the
It shouldn't
phrase
be.
"have it all" means different things to different people.
Exactly.
After my daughter was grown up, she admitted that, Mom, you did not have to come home every single night. At the time I was raising Alexis, we really felt that we had to be home for every night. But she said, you didn't have to be. You only had to be there when I needed you.
We put pressure on ourselves.
Yes.
Hand me the can of worms back, please.
Well, people should go online, chime in, use the hashtag Orange Room. I'll go rogue because I want to hear more of what people have to say about
Ladies, thank you.
Thank you. Is this the big brush? Okay.
it.
That's what's trending today, and we're back in 1 minute.